Patagonia begins where the continent starts to fall apart. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, as if the land itself is letting go. Here, South America stretches thinner and thinner until it can no longer hold its shape. Mountains unravel into wind, forests break into plains, roads become fragile lines across emptiness, and eventually, the continent simply ends. Patagonia is not a place people pass through by accident. It is a place you arrive at only when you are willing to go farther than comfort allows. This is the southern edge of the inhabited world, a land shared between Chile and Argentina, shaped not by cities or borders, but by wind, ice, and time. Patagonia does not announce itself. It reveals itself slowly, through silence, through distance, through the feeling that something familiar is slipping away behind you. The first thing people notice is the wind. It never stops. It moves across the land with nothing to slow it down, having traveled thousands of kilometers over the Southern Ocean. It bends trees permanently. It sculpts rock. It strips away sound. In Patagonia, the wind becomes a presence, not background noise, but a force that defines every moment. Here, weather does not decorate the landscape, it controls it. Clouds race low across the sky. Sunlight appears and disappears within minutes. Rain turns to snow without warning. The land feels exposed, unfinished, as if nature never settled on a final version. And yet, Patagonia is ancient. Long before humans arrived, this region was already shaped by extremes. Tectonic plates collided. The Andes rose like a wall, splitting climates in half. On the western side, moisture from the Pacific piled into dense forests and glaciers. On the eastern side, rain vanished, leaving behind dry steppes and endless plains. This contrast defines Patagonia. In one direction, ice fields, fjords, and rain-soaked mountains. In the other, dust, wind, and open horizons that feel almost oceanic. Few places on Earth show the planet's forces so openly. The southern Patagonian ice field is one of the largest remaining ice masses outside Antarctica and Greenland. Massive glaciers spill down from it, like frozen rivers, cracking, groaning, and collapsing into turquoise lakes. These are not static monuments. They move, they breathe, they retreat in advance, responding to temperatures and time scales far beyond human perception. Standing near a glacier, sound returns in unexpected ways. Ice fractures echo like distant thunder. Deep cracks release sharp, rifle-like snaps. Entire walls collapse into water, sending waves across lakes that appear calm only seconds before. This is Earth working, not violently, but relentlessly. And Patagonia reminds you that the planet does not need permission to change. Human presence here is minimal by necessity. Settlements are small, distances are vast, roads feel provisional, always one storm away from disappearance. Even today, much of Patagonia remains unreachable without days of travel. This isolation has preserved something rare, a landscape that has not been optimized, controlled, or softened. Life here adapts or disappears. Guanacos move across the steppe in loose groups, scanning the horizon endlessly. Condors ride thermal currents above cliffs, barely moving their wings. Pumas hunt invisibly, leaving almost no trace of their presence. In Patagonia, survival favors patience and awareness over strength. Humans who remain here learn the same lesson. Patagonian towns feel temporary, even when they have existed for generations. Buildings are practical, built low against the wind. There is little excess. Life is quiet, direct, and shaped by the understanding that nature always has the final word. And beyond the towns, the land opens completely. Miles pass without signs of life. Fences stretch across emptiness, then disappear. The horizon feels impossibly far, yet always the same. Patagonia plays tricks on perception. Distances collapse, time stretches, and the mind drifts inward. Many travelers describe a strange calm here. Not comfort, not happiness, but clarity. In the absence of noise, thought becomes sharper. Without crowds, attention turns outward. Patagonia does not entertain you. It confronts you, gently, steadily, with scale, with solitude, with the reality that human life is small against geological time. And this is only the beginning. Farther south, the land will fragment even more. Mountains will break into islands. Water will overtake stone. Forests will thin. And eventually, the continent will surrender entirely to sea and sky. Patagonia is not just the end of a continent. As Patagonia stretches farther south, the land begins to fracture. What was once solid ground slowly breaks apart into channels, islands, and fjords. Mountains sink into the sea. Valleys flood. The continent no longer feels continuous. It feels unfinished, as if the earth itself hesitated before letting it dissolve completely. This is where Patagonia becomes something else. On the western edge, the Pacific pushes deep into the land, carving long fjords between steep, forested cliffs. Rain falls here almost constantly, feeding temperate rainforests that cling to rock and slope. Moss covers everything. Trees grow twisted by wind and moisture, their branches bent permanently toward the ground. Glaciers descend straight into the ocean. Some end in towering ice walls. Others melt quietly, bleeding cold blue water into dark channels. Boats move slowly through these passages, dwarfed by scale, their engines echoing briefly before being swallowed by distance. Here, Patagonia feels closer to Antarctica than to the rest of South America. The southern ice fields dominate the region, vast frozen plateaus feeding dozens of glaciers that flow outward in all directions. These ice fields are among the largest freshwater reserves on Earth, and they remain largely inaccessible. Storms arrive without warning. Visibility vanishes. Even experienced explorers are turned back. The ice decides who passes. For those who reach it, the experience is unsettling. The surface is not smooth. It is fractured, crevassed, unstable. Snow bridges hide deep blue voids beneath. One step too far in the wrong direction can mean disappearance. In Patagonia, danger rarely announces itself. It waits quietly. Yet life persists here, stubborn and precise. Along the coasts, sea lions haul themselves onto rocky shores, indifferent to wind and cold. Penguins nest in places that seem impossibly exposed, returning year after year to the same fragile sites. Offshore, whales migrate through icy waters, surfacing briefly before vanishing again into depth. The ocean here is rich, but unforgiving. Currents collide. Storms form quickly. Waves break with enormous force against cliffs that have been shaped by centuries of impact. Patagonia's shoreline is not a boundary. It is a battlefield between water and stone. And humans remain visitors. Settlements along the fjords are sparse, often reachable only by boat. Supplies depend on weather. Isolation is routine. Silence dominates daily life. Conversations are slow. Time feels stretched, unhurried, shaped by light and seasons rather than schedules. Farther east, the land tells a different story. Beyond the Andes, the rain disappears almost instantly. The mountains block moisture, casting a vast shadow across the plains. What remains is steppe, dry, open, and endless. Grass bends low under constant wind. Dust travels freely. The horizon feels empty, yet full of presence. This side of Patagonia feels exposed. There is nowhere to hide from weather, from distance, from oneself. Roads cut straight lines through the landscape, disappearing into mirages. Sheep ranches stretch across immense areas, their fences barely visible against scale. Life here is defined by endurance. Gauchos move across the plains, much as they did generations ago, following rhythms set by land rather than technology. Their culture reflects the environment, quiet, resilient, grounded. In Patagonia, excess feels out of place. Simplicity is not aesthetic, it is practical. And still, the land continues south. Mountains lower, forests thin. Water becomes dominant. The continent breaks into islands scattered across cold seas. Navigation becomes complex. Maps feel inadequate. At times, it feels as if Patagonia is actively resisting being fully understood. This sense of resistance is part of its power. Patagonia does not offer easy meaning. It does not provide spectacle on demand. It requires attention, patience, and acceptance of discomfort. Those who rush through it often miss what makes it profound. Those who slow down feel something shift. Many describe a quiet transformation, not dramatic, not emotional, but steady. Patagonia strips away distraction. Without crowds or constant stimulation, awareness expands. The mind adapts to distance and silence. This is why Patagonia stays with people long after they leave. It is not remembered as a list of places, but as a state of mind, a reminder of scale, a lesson in humility, a confrontation with the idea that the world does not exist to be consumed. And farther south still, the land begins to disappear entirely. Islands grow smaller, channels widen, winds grow stronger, trees vanish. The earth seems to thin, as if preparing for something beyond itself. At the edge of Patagonia, the continent no longer feels complete. It feels like a threshold, and crossing it means leaving behind not just land, but the last familiar shape of the world. Beyond Patagonia, the continent does not end with a line. It dissolves. Land fragments into islands. Mountains sink into water. The horizon becomes unstable, shifting with fog, wind, and tide. This is Tierra del Fuego, the last broken edge of South America, where the idea of a continent loses its meaning. Here, the world feels unfinished. The air is colder, the wind sharper. Weather arrives without warning and leaves without explanation. Sunlight struggles to stay. Clouds move fast, low and heavy, as if the sky itself is restless. This is where Patagonia completes its transformation. Forests shrink and twist, growing low and dense, shaped entirely by wind. Trees never grow tall here. They cannot. The environment will not allow it. Survival means staying close to the ground, bending instead of resisting. Water dominates everything. Channels cut deep between islands. Rain falls constantly. Snow appears even in summer. The sea presses inward, erasing borders between land and ocean. Navigation becomes uncertain. Orientation depends on instinct more than direction, and at the very edge lies Cape Horn. For centuries, this was one of the most feared places on Earth. Before canals and engines, ships were forced to pass here if they wanted to cross between oceans. Countless vessels were lost. Storms rose suddenly, waves towered, winds collided from every direction. Sailors spoke of Cape Horn not as a location, but as a test. Those who survived carried its memory for life. Even today, the waters here are among the most dangerous on the planet. The Southern Ocean wraps around the globe uninterrupted, gathering energy until it crashes against this final barrier. There is nothing to break its force. Standing at the edge, it becomes clear. This is not just the end of a continent. It is the meeting point of Earth's most powerful systems, and humans remain small. Settlements here are minimal. Ushuaia, often called the southernmost city in the world, exists only because people insisted on living where logic says they should not. Beyond it, roads fade quickly, then disappear. After that, there is only wind, water, and distance. In these far southern latitudes, time behaves differently. Days stretch endlessly in summer. Darkness dominates winter. The rhythm of life adapts, slows, simplifies. Modern urgency feels out of place. Here, people measure time by weather, not clocks. This is why Patagonia is often described not as a destination, but as an experience that rewires perception. It removes reference points. Without crowds, without noise, without constant signals, the mind settles into something quieter. And in that quiet, something becomes clear. Patagonia does not exist to impress. It exists to endure. It shows what the planet looks like when human presence is minimal, when nature does not negotiate, when the land is allowed to remain vast, indifferent, and unsimplified. In a world increasingly shaped by control and efficiency, Patagonia feels almost radical. It reminds us that not everything needs to be optimized, that some places gain meaning precisely because they resist use, that the end of a continent can be more valuable untouched than transformed. This is why Patagonia matters. Not because it is beautiful, though it is. Not because it is remote, though it remains so. But because it represents a boundary, a limit to expansion, a pause in ambition, a reminder that Earth does not belong to us everywhere. At the southern edge, with nothing left ahead but ocean and sky, Patagonia delivers its quiet message. The continent has ended. The planet continues. And perhaps that is the lesson. That endings are not failures. They are necessary. Patagonia is where the land steps back and lets the earth speak for itself. A place where silence carries weight, where distance restores perspective, where the world feels large again. This is the end of the continent, and the beginning of understanding what it means to stand at the edge and stop. After Patagonia ends, nothing truly begins. There is no new land waiting beyond it, no next chapter written clearly on the map, only distance. Beyond the broken islands of Tierra del Fuego lies an uninterrupted ocean that circles the planet without resistance. The Southern Ocean does not belong to any coast. It gathers wind, cold, and momentum until it becomes something almost autonomous. This is where Earth feels least restrained, and this is why Patagonia matters more than it seems. It is not only the end of a continent, it is the last place where the human world slowly dissolves into the planetary one. From here, Antarctica is closer than any city, not in kilometers, but in feeling. The air sharpens, the silence deepens, the rules begin to change. Patagonia is the final threshold, the place where Earth prepares itself to let go of us entirely. Throughout history, humans have been drawn to edges, not because they are comfortable, but because they clarify something inside us. At the edge, ambition weakens, identity softens. What remains is awareness. Patagonia does not reward conquest, It rewards stillness. This is why so many people describe a strange peace here. The land does not demand attention. It does not compete for meaning. There is no urgency to extract, improve, or dominate. Patagonia exists without explanation, and in doing so, it allows the mind to rest. In a world saturated with information, Patagonia feels almost medicinal. It strips life down to fundamentals: weather, movement, shelter, light. Without constant signals, the nervous system recalibrates. Breathing slows. Thought becomes spacious. Time stretches. This is not escapism. It is recalibration. Patagonia teaches what modern life often forgets. That meaning does not require density. That vastness itself can be grounding. That silence is not emptiness, but a different form of presence. And perhaps this is why Patagonia feels connected to other edge places on Earth. To Kamchatka, where volcanoes remind us the planet is still alive. To Tibet, where altitude strips away distraction and leaves only awareness. To Antarctica, where the world exists without us entirely. These places share something essential. They are not optimized for humans. They do not adapt to us. They force us to adapt, inwardly. Patagonia sits at the center of this quiet geography of limits. It is close enough to be reached, but far enough to remain intact. Accessible, yet resistant. A place where the Earth allows us to visit, but never to settle fully. This balance is rare and fragile. As technology improves and distances shrink, even Patagonia feels closer than it once did. Roads improve, images circulate. The illusion of familiarity grows. But the land itself has not changed. Wind still scours the plains. Ice still cracks without warning. Oceans still decide who passes. Patagonia reminds us that proximity does not equal understanding. You can see it on a map. You can watch it on a screen. But to feel it, you must slow down enough to let it work on you. This is why Patagonia lingers in memory. Not as a checklist of landmarks, but as a sensation. A feeling of being reduced to scale, of realizing that the world is far larger than our concerns, and that this is not a threat, but a relief. At the edge of the continent, with nothing ahead but ocean and wind, the planet seems to pause, not in anticipation, but in completeness. It does not need to go further, and neither do we. Patagonia does not ask us to stay. It asks us to notice, to understand that some places exist not to be transformed, but to transform us. At the end of the continent, Earth remains vast, quiet, and unfinished. And in that unfinished space, there is room to breathe. This is not the end of a journey. It is the moment after the journey ends, when movement stops and meaning settles. Patagonia stands there, at the far edge of the land, not as a destination, but as a reminder that the world is still larger than us, and that this is exactly how it should be.